Hey guys, it's me again, and this is gonna be our second game of, I guess, our series, and we'll be playing a 10-minute game. Last time we played yesterday against a person, another online person, a 10-minute game, and we played an exchange, Caro Khan, and unfortunately our opponent blundered their bishop pretty early on, so the game was kind of short, but we're back for another, so let's get started. So I'm just gonna start up our 10-minute game, and we'll play. And I'm gonna be trying to walk you guys through like what I'm thinking, and I think it's pretty helpful for myself as well. I'm white. I always play e4, so I'm just gonna play e4, grab control of the center. He's gonna play the French, and I'm gonna play d4, getting more control of the center. He's gonna play this, the French main line, and I'm gonna take because I actually don't know much theory, so I resort to going to the exchange variation, and yeah, I'm gonna keep developing. And let's bring this bishop to d3 where it's pretty good. The square is pretty good for the bishop. I don't think this is the best move for him. Maybe he wants to do something that's very similar as well, but whatever floats your boat, right? So I'm going to castle pretty early. He's going to let me. Now, this bishop is my bad bishop. It's going to be weak throughout the entire game because I'm probably going to play something like c3 later, and this is going to be my pawn chain. My pawn chain is going to be on the dark squares. So my dark square bishop is kind of going to be blocked by my own pawn, so it's not going to be the best. So I'm going to try to put it here because it is doing something at least here, but not really much. He's going to play the same thing, and there's often ideas of like trying to put your piece up here, but if I do put this up here, maybe I'm met with this. We saw the very similar thing in yesterday's game, which was the Caro-Kann exchange variation, and this is the French defense exchange variation. So very similar ideas. So maybe we don't want to go too early right now, and maybe we just chill. We just play c3. Put putting some support on this pawn. He's gonna pin my queen, my knight to my queen, which isn't too bad for us because I'm just gonna bring this knight over here. If he takes, we can just take back, so no worries. I plan to bring my queen over here, and something to, the difference between the exchange, between the French defense and the Caro-Kann is that well, Black is missing their e pawn in this case, and yesterday they were missing their c pawn in the Caro-Kann. So when I bring my queen here, there's no ideas of like bring the rook here and then like maybe bring a knight to here, forking us. So my queen should be pretty safe on this square. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put that queen on that square. He's playing h6, maybe preemptive, because he wants to bring this knight to the center as well. And we're kind of thinking to ourselves, like, what do we want to do? Actually, what we could do maybe here is play h3. Idea is if he goes back, we play g4. Very aggressive. He's going to go back. We take, he takes, and my queen takes, winning a pawn. So there's ideas of like when we play g4, he sacks the knight, and then his bishop takes back. So a knight for 2 pawns. But that shouldn't be too bad because we can always bring this bishop back here to defend. So should be pretty good. When we play h3, we should be forcing him to trade. So we're going to be winning the bishop pair, and yeah, he's going to move backwards, which is sad for him. He's moving backwards is always a little sad. But let's start channeling this open file to the best of our ability. We want to use it, so let's try to use it, right? Rook c8. Um, maybe he wants to play c5 in the future. If he does play c5, I think we could take, and if he takes with the knight, well, the first thing is that well, he's gonna have an isolated pawn, so that's gonna be interesting for him. I think I want to play knight e5, just putting my pieces in the center. If he takes with the knight, then I can put my bishop, which will be a lot stronger in the center. So I think that's fine for us. If he plays c5, Can I play this still? I don't know, because then he can play here, and then my bishop is kind of like, where do I want to go? Could be a little weird, but I think we should take here. So yeah, I think let's if we take his knight on d7, what will he take back with? We don't really know, which is why this is a bit of a weird position. Knight f3 or knight d to f3 is an idea, but again, yeah, he's gonna meet that with c4, and ultimately, I don't even know if we can do anything. Maybe we go f5 and we trade our bishop, but I don't know if we want to trade that bishop. But if we do this and he takes, I take, perhaps there will be some ideas of like a kingside attack. So I think this is fine. We can try this out. No problem, right? Um, we are down quite a bit of time. He's got 9 minutes, and we're at 5.5 minutes because I've been talking through my moves. But that's all right because it should start to speed. I think we're starting to get out of that place where we need to use a lot of our time. So that's completely fine. Maybe he's thinking of something like g6, but if he does play g6, I take with the knight because this pawn will be having two, I guess, what's it called? Purposes. Oops. Two purposes, supporting both the pawn and the bishop. If we take here and takes, then, well, he's not doing that anymore. Yeah, so we were here and we were just thinking that we're going to trade this off. And I think that's completely fine. So, another thing that I had noticed, or I guess I'd learned, is that, well, when you're playing chess, oftentimes pawn chains form, and the way your pawn chain points is usually the way that you want to attack. So our pawn chain is going to be pointing towards the king side, so we will be having more of a king side attack than he would. So that's just something to keep track of, right? Um, what do we do here? We could always take, but don't know if taking actually does anything, you know? We take, maybe he'll take with queen. We trade. And I get a knight in front, I guess. Maybe again. So I guess we can try to do that. Actually, let's play this. I'm thinking of ideas where I actually take here. If he takes, I could go check. And we could deliver some sort of mate. So we're just looking at our options. Okay. And I think I can actually take here with the pawn. What is he going to do? Bring it here? Okay. That was expected. Perhaps we have to bring our piece back. Yeah, it seems like we do have to bring it back, or else it's not going to end very well for us. That's fine. We can put our knight here. I do like that for a knight, so we're going to do that. Maybe he's just going to come over here. I don't know. I'm not sure what he's thinking. If it does go over there, yeah, does he actually have a threat even? I don't know. I don't think so, actually. We could play something like this. But it might not be the best move. I'm looking. Maybe we will just play this and he's going to back up here. Or we could just play this immediately. Can he play this? No, he can't because he's hanging a rook. So actually, let's do that. We're threatening quite a few things now because this rook is actually kind of in a weird spot, isn't it? If he takes here, then he loses a rook. So I actually really like this move now. This is a very interesting position. We're down to 3 minutes, so I've been talking about my moves pretty extensively, or in depth at least. So I don't know if that's going to continue because we are getting low on time. But let's see how he reacts to this threat. I'm also threatening to, of course, just take and queen. Threatening to take and take here. Okay. Perhaps we had missed this move. He goes here. I think we have to take, don't we? Or maybe I can go here first. Takes his rook is gonna take there, and maybe my queen goes here. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do that because he's also threatening these ideas now. It's a tough game. It is a tough game. Okay. He's a monster. He doesn't care. Could place no like check, and then we can play. What can we play? Maybe just bring the piece back. I don't know if I like that though. Don't know if I like that though. Let's play check first. Also threatening these ideas. So don't worry. Yeah, I think we're forced to play something like this. And it's fine. It's fine. It's fine right now because we still have ideas of like bringing this knight over here, and that knight would be pretty strong. We're still looking at this pawn with our queen, and it's a bit of a weakness because our knight's blocking it, so it will never get protected by another pawn. That's another thing. So we could maybe in the future bring a rook here, bring like a rook here, and like bring everything in and attack, 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 attack. But we'll see. Right now, open file, and I don't know how much I like it, but he did just blunder a fork, I think. So we're gonna go ahead and play that. I think it's a blunder. I think. But let's take. And he seems to agree that it's a blunder. I'm gonna bring my queen here, asking for a queen trade because we are up in material. And when you're up in material, you want to trade down pieces because that's how you really feel that what's it called? That I guess difference. He's gonna give us a check, and I think we can just ask for the queen trade again. If we doesn't take our queen, we take his bishop. So I feel like we're forcing the queen trade here. He could go here. Yeah, he's forced that. Oh, you might have made a bit of a mistake. Okay, okay. We went too quick. We went too quick. We went way too quick. But did he go way too quick too? Doesn't seem like it. But now we have to speed up because the game does continue. It does seem like we blundered, though. Very hard, in fact. Um, He's got two passed pawns, and I think the game is over now. We went too quick, and it should have been a really easy win, in fact. That's tough. We were up the exchange, and, well, one mistake, you can bring the entire game comes back to that. And actually, because we had double pawns, he has the majority pawns on the queen side. So we ended up just becoming really weak. Well, that's completely fine. So, because, well, every game's a learning opportunity. So let's go ahead and learn. So I'm going to try to get the analysis ready for us. So let's do that. And yeah. So now we're going to do the analysis for this game, because that's probably the best thing to do. You know, we want to learn from our mistakes. So this was the exchange French, and I was playing white. He was an 1898 rated player, so just about the same skill level as me. And yeah, we're gonna go into this opening, and everything seems pretty normal. I don't like this move from him. Engine doesn't also really like it either. Bishop d6 is probably the best move. That's what the engine says, at least over here. This is kind of awkward because what is that bishop actually doing? It's not doing anything. It's looking at its own knight and nothing else. I mean, it's looking at this empty space here, but there's nothing here. So, a bit of an inaccuracy from him, but that's completely fine. And I'm going to play bishop f4 because I mean, if he's going to give me this diagonal, I'm going to take it because he's not putting his own bishop there. I'll do it. c3. I'm going to play my own thing too. Yeah, pinning, and I'm playing engine moves so far. Looks good enough. H3 already, actually. That's interesting. I think it's the same thing. It's the same exact idea, because if he goes back here, then we play queen c2 maybe. I would probably play queen c2 here, because that seems like what the idea was with h3. Because now you're threatening to play this and then this. This h pawn is still not moved yet, so actually I don't know if there's a reason to play h3 here, because it does weaken your pawn structure just a little bit. So I don't really like it too much. I don't know what the point of it is. But queen c2 holds on to whatever advantage the computer seems to be giving us. So not bad. In fact, now it's even saying that queen c2 is the best move. So it's gonna keep shuffling around because there's so many normal moves that are okay enough. So let's just go ahead. This is where it starts to get a little weird. And I see that this h6, I think I play h3 right here, and that's the best move. He's forced to go back. And let's see over here. If he goes here, do we play g4? Yeah, we do play g4. It's up on the engine. It's up there. It's up there. The idea is, well, yeah, if he goes here, well, take. Our king side is slightly weak, but we are threatening this as well. If he does queen e8, which is what the engine seems to be suggesting, I'm going to trade queens immediately because we are up a pawn. Maybe I'll start bringing my rooks, trying to use that open file that we have now. But I would be up a pawn, so pretty nice. If he does sacrifice, he doesn't actually have an attack, because I mean, this knight is controlling these squares. This bishop can always come back, and it should be all good for us. Engine even suggests king g2, which is very interesting, because the idea is, well, then you have rook h1, and maybe you can sack your own piece eventually. Really interesting stuff. King g2 also just keeps you really safe, because you can bring your rooks here, and your king should be safe on f1. So that would be very nice, but of course he played bishop e6, which is probably better, not just losing a piece immediately. And I'm going to try to use that. I guess I'm just now developing. Yeah. We've already developed our pieces to like their best squares, so we may as well bring something to the E file, because we want to put a knight into the center. And I think here I played knight e5. Engine doesn't seem to like it too much. Instead, it wants to see b4, before stopping this completely in its tracks. And the reason why I didn't actually think of this at all was because if we remember the Caro-Kann, this pawn was over here. So there, black's pieces were looking straight down over here. He could double his rooks, and everything was looking down here. So this would be a weakness. If we do play something like b4, this pawn is a weakness because there's no pawn behind it to protect it. And we can't really push it because if we do push it, he's going to take. We're going to take, and we have an isolated pawn here, which is going to end up. We're just going to end up being a weakness in the endgame. But the thing is that in the exchange French, there is a c pawn. Black does have a c pawn, so they can't actually even target this. So that's really interesting, actually. Maybe they would play something with b6, but b6 does just give us the square a6, and all of a sudden his piece is very confused. Where should I go? Actually, if he even goes here, we just go bishop b7, and the power of the bishops. The power of the bishops were trapping the rook, so you don't want to play b6 there. Really interesting stuff. So b4 is something that I should be looking at in my games because I do seem to run into the exchange French quite a lot. So that's interesting. So I was scared of c5, and we didn't mention that, but I kept playing like this, which is good enough. Knight takes d7 was suggested by the bishop, or by the engine, but knight d to f3 is good enough. c4 hitting this, and it says bishop f5, which is what I was thinking. Queen takes f5, and we do have some activity with our pieces. Maybe in the future there was some idea of doing this, but let's keep going. Okay, we did rook here, and I played this, which we still have the advantage, but like it's gone away a little bit. Rook a to b1, bishop g3, g4. G4 is interesting. G4 is pretty interesting. We have all these pieces, so maybe we should have started using them, and that's a very aggressive move, but maybe that's exactly what we needed. I don't know. g4, knight takes e5 because they want to trade down. Yeah, d takes because I want to attack. I want to keep the tempo. I want to keep the initiative. I want black to react to me. If I take with this kind of piece, then black has some time to maybe play whatever they want. And I don't want black to play what they want. I want black to play what I want. So when we do this, he's kind of forced to do this. And then now we have e6. So I did say e6 ideas. And this happens. And e6 should have been played here. Whoa! I completely missed it. Because if he takes here, we have this fork. So this does win for us. So you can't actually take. Rook f8 is what is suggested. And here we have to find rook a to d1. Everything else is kind of off. And rook a to d1 is very interesting because... Now, this is a really hard position to play at for us because, I mean, he's threatening this. He's threatening to take our knight, which is kind of just like hanging. So it's a little dangerous. I don't know. Rook a to d1. What if he just takes this? Oh, yeah, well, we take here and then we take this right here. Interesting stuff. In fact, when we first did this, the engine was like, oh my gosh, black is winning. And then now it's like, oh, it's actually pretty equal. Yeah, this is crazy because, there's also this check that you could fit in. There's a lot of things to calculate. I don't know. That's a crazy position, though. e6 becomes a little crazy. I bring it back. And he has g6 because my queen is trapped. I never saw this, actually. My knight on this f3 hole earlier when my knight was here, there was the idea that we could always escape, but dang, I did not notice this. I should have noticed because look at all these pieces. My queen is actually very stuck. It can't get out. There's this. This. Everything's really controlled, actually. So this should be like an alarm in my head, being like, "Oh my God, I am blundering." But g6 was missed, and we're lucky. I played knight d4 obviously because knight in the center, very cool. He plays this, and I played e6, 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 rook f6, and queen g4 was the better move. And I guess it's just because, yeah, you're safe, so it's all good. But I played this, and then I played queen h4 check. If he did this, I think this is fine for me. Oh, he has rook h8. Again, I missed that. Another, my queen is trapped. So these are the dangers of bringing your queen out very early. So I would have fallen for that g6. Yeah, I would have fallen for that for sure. Because that's what I was thinking. Defending this, and he blunders that. Very interesting that the engine doesn't even care. Because that's a blunder. Oh, it's not a blunder. It's just a waste of a move. Engine doesn't care too much for this because, oh yeah, check, and then we take this. Dang. I thought it was a fork, and I thought that we were just plain winning, but how wrong were we? Yeah, but here it should have been winning for me, and I blundered. Yeah, this was a mistake, mistake. King h2 is fine enough because I'm still threatening this, of course. And then I guess I have the rooks to come here, and I should win this very cleanly. Like if he plays bishop f6, I go check first, king goes in the corner, and then I bring my rook here. This is easy to win. He's gonna play this, but it doesn't actually do anything, you know? I mean, let's see. Do I just play like, yeah, rook e2 is what's suggested. And the idea is that you can double here. We can't play this first because, well, he just hits us with this bishop. So, but we're winning regardless because if he does this, now we can play it like this. Go back, and then we have this. We're going to take this. If he goes here, takes. Can he take? I don't think he can take. We have queen e4, and now everything's just lost for black. So, all in all, I think it's a very interesting. It was good because we did learn about the b4 idea. When you're scared of like c5, you can play b4 into the French because this is not a weakness. It might be a weakness in the very, very end game, but right now, it's completely fine because this is not an open file. So, good lesson to learn. And of course, reminder to not take out your queen like this. Be very careful with your queen, or else it can just get trapped. Don't want to go too aggressive. Anyways, even though we lost, we learned quite a bit, so I consider that a win. So I think that's the analysis for that game, and I think this is going to be it for the video today. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later tomorrow in another game. Bye bye.